This is Dr. Daniel Paul, orthopedic surgeon with Easy Orthopedics, and today we're going to talk about how to get loose bodies out of your joint. If you like this video, we put out new content weekly, so please like and subscribe. So loose bodies. Loose bodies are essentially just pieces of bone or cartilage that are floating around inside your joint, almost like gravel. And what can happen is they get stuck inside the joint when you're moving between the articular surfaces, and it can cause a lot of pain, as you think it would when you have like something the size of a pebble or a pea, sometimes smaller, sometimes larger, stuck like in the middle of a joint. They can come either from the cartilage breaking off, or if you have arthritis and you get these things called osteophytes, which are little bony projections that people with arthritis get, it can also break off of that as well. So how do you get rid of them? The bad news is it's really hard. You can't really get rid of them without someone going in there and surgically removing it. Now, that being said, sometimes they're not symptomatic. Sometimes they'll sort of settle out on the sides of the joints so that they're not really, they kind of get stuck in the soft tissues and they're not really getting smushed inside the joint. So a lot of people end up living with these kind of floating around in there, or sort of settled in there, I should say. However, if you have bigger loose bodies and they're not doing that and they're just floating around, the only really way to get them out is with surgery. Like I just had some on my elbow, honestly, to get some removed. Most of the time it's done arthroscopically, where they basically take a scope and they put a bunch of water inside your knee or your elbow or wherever, and they can kind of suck them all out that way. It is surgery though, but if they're in there and they're bouncing around in there and causing you pain, then that's really the only surefire way to get rid of them, unfortunately. Injections or anything else isn't going to do it. You know, injections and those things can work well for decreasing inflammation. But if you have a little ping pong ball bouncing around in there, it's not going to, you know, it can only help so much with that. The most common joints that you usually see them in are the knee, and for whatever reason the elbow is where most loose bodies are. But you can still get them in the shoulder or other areas. But anyways, if you really want them out, unfortunately, surgery is really the only reasonable way to remove them. So I hope I was able to answer your questions about how to remove loose bodies. If you have any questions I didn't answer, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to respond. But I can't give you any medical advice over YouTube, because this video and all my videos are for educational purposes only. Thanks for watching.